Have you ever felt like you're too full of ideas to ever finish anything? The kind of person who starts 10 projects, has 14 tabs open, 3 notebooks on the go, and a brain that generates more plans in a day than you could action in a year.
If that's you, you're in the right place. Welcome back to Too Much Apparently, a podcast for deep feeling, overthinking, emotionally overloaded humans who've been told they're too much, apparently.
We are Alice and Carly, two deep feeling therapists figuring out how to live in a world that often feels like a lot.
This isn't therapy or advice, just honest, messy human conversations about life, healing, and our own brains.
Before we get into it, a bit of exciting news. Alice and I are speaking at the Prosper in Private Practice Virtual Summit later this month. It's a free online event running the 21st to the 26th of June for therapists and counsellors. There's over 25 speakers across the week, talks you can watch in your own time, and a live closing panel. If you're a therapist or counsellor, or you just love us and want to see what we get up to in our daily jobs, the registration is completely free. Check the link in our show notes below.
We genuinely love to see some muchlings there. And if you want more of this conversation, we're also building a little community over on Substack. Journal prompts, community chats, live updates, and fellow muchlings to connect with. Just search Too Much Apparently on Substack.
So let's get into it.
So I'm in it. I am living this episode this week. I have got so many things going on that I feel like I'm doing hourly checks on my lists to make sure that I haven't forgotten to do anything. It's pretty intense.
Yes. I feel like this is just my daily existence, pretty much. Just the idea of, so many ideas, too little time.
Yeah. So I don't think about myself as an ideas person. I know you do. I've heard you talk about it. I don't think of myself as an ideas person, but I do always have so many things on the go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So as we were thinking about doing this episode just this morning, I was like, I know, I'll sit down and I'll figure out how many tabs have I actually got open. So I have 5 Chrome windows for different areas of my life. So I've got a daily window that's got all the things that I do on a daily basis. That's got 30 tabs open on it currently of things that I use every single day. I've got a podcast window with all the things relating to the podcast on it. That's got 20 tabs open on it. I've got a study window for my masters and any other training or CPD that I do. That's got 18 tabs open on it. I've got a create window for all my social media content creation and anything else that I need to do creatively. That's got 27 tabs open on it. And I've got a personal window for non-work things. That's got 26 tabs open on it. And currently, I just closed quite a lot the other day. My phone has 92 tabs open on it. So this episode being called Too Many Tabs, I got lots of tabs.
I'm now starting to realise why sometimes there's lag on your end when we're recording this podcast. Like, there's all those freaking tabs.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be that.
I think it will be that.
Well, sometimes it's because I'm on Wi-Fi by mistake. So I have to be on a wired connection. But yes, maybe some of it is the number of tabs that I have open, but I can't close them. I think it's like an out of sight, out of mind thing. If I close the tab, whatever it relates to, I'll forget about it and it just won't get done. So if I have all the tabs open, they're all just there.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I'm similar to you. I've got 4 different Chrome profiles that each have different things on them. I actually recently closed, just yesterday actually, I had about 10 tabs that were purely different degree courses that I was just perusing because, I'm always looking for the next degree. So counting wise, mine's actually not too bad at the moment. There's still multiple tabs open, but but yeah, at my phone, as we've said before, my phone just constantly has the smiley face because there's too many tabs on there. So I am terrible for tabs and terrible for having multiple things open just on my computer at once. So all of those courses that I'd looked up, they were there for a good few weeks before I actually closed them all down because there is this fear that once I've lost it and it's gone, even though I could just look it up again. And that was my idea in that moment. Like, will I return back to that idea? Maybe, but often maybe not. So obviously, with this episode, we're talking about having too many tabs open. Now, we've spoken literally about having too many tabs open and the fear of like needing to save that. So, can't close that down. So we end up with all these tabs, reducing our bandwidth and our computers and phones' speed and ability to run. And yet at the same time, it's a great metaphor for how that happens in our actual mind as well, when we are carrying and holding far too many things in our mind. And then that starts to impact our cognitive functioning, for example. So both, a great way to start the literal meaning of too many tabs, but also the more metaphorical one as well.
Yeah, and I feel like my literal tabs have become like an external representation of, I spoke right back at the beginning about my coat hanger system of remembering things. And I think since that hasn't worked so well, it all has to be externalized now. I can't hold anything in my brain. Like if I ever think to myself, oh yeah, I'll remember that. Like there's no way. There's no
Yeah.
way. So it has to all be out somewhere and somewhere very visible.
I don't know about you. I feel that way too, but then that starts to get overwhelming. So the number of tabs that are then open, the number of tabs on my phone, I need to have it there and I need to not lose it. And at the same time, it then gets so much that I'm now just overwhelmed by tab clutter.
I don't think I have that. And I
No?
think that's an extension of me being a messy person that I just don't
Right.
notice it. I just don't. I think I do. Well, maybe I do. I do with clutter now. Like I'll get to the point where I'll be like, right now I need to tidy up. But yeah, no, I don't think I have that so much. I think when I really start to lose what is on each one, like I can't see from the tab itself what it is, then I might start to think like, oh, okay, there's probably things open here I don't need anymore. I'll close them off. But no, I
Mhm.
don't think I get so overwhelmed by them. But I am overwhelmed by the number of tasks that I've got going on this week.
I think I'm such a systematizer. Is that a word?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'm a systematizer and really like to organize. So I often just try to create systems, but then those systems just end up being overwhelming and not working. So because I do often have so many tabs, but I'm then overwhelmed by that, I then created a tab system. So in your phone, you can create tab groups.
Yeah.
So then I started to have little categories and all my open tabs would get filtered into these groups. So it was less overwhelming, but I didn't have to get rid of them. But that didn't last remotely very long. So now I've got all these tab groups and then just loads and loads and loads of open tabs. It never stopped.
Well, when you're saying there about systems, that makes me think of the number of times where I have started a new system and spent hours on the system and then not done any of the thing that the system is actually for. I
Right.
have got the most elaborate content creation system ever. It tracks all kinds of metrics. It's got all sorts of stuff in there. Don't use it. I just don't use it.
Yes. Oh, there's so many things that I've poured so much time into making, thinking this is going to make my life better, and then don't use it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun when I'm making it though.
Yeah. I think that is half the fun, isn't it?
Mhm.
Well, I think it's that and the hope that this will be the thing.
Right. Yeah.
This will be the thing that makes me feel streamlined.
Like an adult.
Yes, like an adult. Yeah.
Well, you were speaking about finding it overwhelming to have lots of tasks in your mind.
Yeah.
And of course, we've briefly mentioned about what it means to have lots of ideas in your mind and they feel like different things. So, thinking about the task aspect first, and for people listening who might also relate to what it means to have so many tasks just there swimming around in your mind, what is it like for you?
I think sometimes it feels exciting. There is a kind of, yeah, there's a buzz that comes with it of like, oh, all this stuff to do, no time to stop and think, just get on and do, kind of work my way through things. That feels really good. And obviously, if you've got lots of things to do and you're getting lots of things done, you feel really productive. And that feels, like being an adult. And I guess because I've been focusing a lot the last couple of years on trying to stay out of burnout, there is this balancing. So this week, I can really feel like I need to stop. So I think I've worked out that like I'm not going to have a weekend for like 4 weeks or something because of everything that I have to do. And that, like, there are parts of me that are like, that's too much and I need to stop. But there isn't anything really that I can cut out at the moment because of
Yeah.
what past me has obliged me to do. So yeah, there's a nervousness at the moment of like, there is probably going to be a crash after this because it's so long without a proper break.
Hmm.
But I guess also that the part that has obliged me to do all of these things, there's still a positivity to it. You know, I'm so obviously, so with the summit that we're doing, that's taking up a lot of my time at the moment, pulling all the bits together for that. But that feels exciting. You know, I'm excited for that to be finished and out there and see what people think. And I'm finishing up all the stuff for my master's course for this year. That feels exciting. I'm also, planning and thinking about what do I need for your engagement party tomorrow. And
Yeah,
oh,
I've
I
not
just,
said that on here, that I got engaged at the start of the year.
yeah.
Yeah.
So lovely. So yeah, planning that, thinking about what are my kids going to wear and what am I going to wear and what time do we need to leave and all of those things. And then I'm straight from that into a uni weekend. So what do I need for that? And we've got a party on the Saturday for our end of year celebration. So thinking about that. So yeah, there's just so many things. I feel like I can barely even can't think of what the word is, but like, I guess properly answer your question because half of my brain is like still running through a to-do list of have I done this? Have I done this? Have I done this?
Yeah, and what I heard in there is a real mixture of how it can feel good to have
Yeah.
lots on. Maybe it depends on what those things are, but it can feel good, productive, maybe like we're living life when we've got a lot on. And at the same time, a lot on is a lot on. Whether it's good or not, it's still a lot on you. Good things are still activating, they still take from you. So you can feel excited by that, but also see the impending, I was going to say doom. That's not very optimistic, is it? That's not very hopeful.
It does,
But
yeah. It doesn't feel like doom, but it does feel like an inevitable crash. Like I said,
sure.
if I had been more organized, probably would have realized that applying to a summit with a deadline between my last weekend and my last assignment being due was over ambitious. But I think you also touched on something important there about it being fun. And actually, yeah, the things that I'm doing are fun. And I think that is because of purposeful decisions that I've made and that I really try not to say yes to things unless I really want to do them, because having too many things to do and also you resent doing them all.
Mhm.
No, not for
No,
me.
it's not a good place to be.
No.
Yeah. And there's the difference there between past me has committed to these obligations where we might resent past me, like, oh, why did I do that?
Mm.
Versus past me has committed me to these obligations, but because past me thought these are going to be good for me, these are going to be good experiences. And we're all going to have times where we go through a busy period where there's not much space to pause. And sometimes that's okay when it's short lived. And then we can intentionally know, right, we might need a bit of breathing space at the end of that. Can't always help that. It is, of course, different when that's prolonged.
Yeah. I feel like we've got two strands to this episode. Like you said before, there's something about tasks here and there's something about ideas, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, the episode is called Too Many Tabs Open in My Brain. But what makes up those tabs are going to be different for different people. So you've spoken a lot about yours being tasks. For me, the tabs in my brain aren't tasks. Obviously, I do have tasks because I'm an adult. But the tasks are the things that I want as little tasks as possible. And when they mount up, I'm overwhelmed. Even when there are good things, I'm overwhelmed. Whereas I would say the tabs that are open in my brain are more ideas and existential philosophical musings, I suppose, is the closest I can get to trying to explain that. And so, yeah, at any point, my mind is brimming with different ideas, different creative thoughts, or a why question.
Mm.
My phone is a good example of this because when I have a question or I'm pondering something, I'm likely to search for it or something. So I can probably give some examples. So, yesterday at 8:30 at night, I was thinking, how come kids in America get braces young whilst people in the UK seem to get them in their teens? Apparently, that was interesting, and I wanted to know about that. At 10:15 last night, when I'm supposed to be sleeping, I was trying to establish the difference between further and farther, and when it's the right way and the wrong way round to use further versus farther.
Do you have a succinct answer?
Yeah, I did, but I found out that I do say it incorrectly. So I hate
Oh,
that. I hate
what's
when
the
I find out.
difference? I don't think I know.
So farther is specifically for distance,
Okay.
whereas further
Yeah.
is more of an abstract form of like distance. For example, we'll discuss this further next time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But if it was, I've thrown my ball, it's I've thrown my ball farther than yours. Whereas I might typically say, I've thrown mine further than yours, but
Oh,
that's
me too.
incorrect. It's wrong.
What?
It's farther.
Okay.
So there you go. You do learn some new things new random things being in my brain. I can just come across something that I end up deeply researching. So, I mean, this is a sad and tragic thing to bring up, but recently, due to the heat waves, there's been quite a lot of deaths by drowning.
Mhm.
In the articles I was reading, they always just talk about the fact that people have died by drowning and to be careful around water without stating why this occurs.
Mm.
From a public safety perspective, I was confused as to why there weren't more specifics about well, what actually is it that happens that causes people to unfortunately lose their life when they might otherwise be quite confident swimmers. So before I know it, I'm spending a long time deep diving into the mechanisms of, what can cause that.
Yeah.
So these are just like a few random ideas. If I kept looking, I would find plenty more. But I can come across anything at any point that just instantly brings a question into my head. And before I know it, I'm thinking about it, researching it, finding out more about it. And so they're just things that I can come across in everyday life. And then, of course, there are my own ideas and musings about why things are the way they are or why do we do it that way and those kinds of things.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I do also have those, and I'm intrigued now what my phone would reveal about what I've been up to the last few days and weeks. Those little rabbit holes of just wanting to understand more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you think about that, do you think of that as making you an ideas person? Or when you think about being an ideas person, I think in my head, when I think about being an ideas person, I'm thinking about coming up with creative ideas for things.
Yeah. So they're two different things. So I would say one is about I'm a very curious person.
Right.
Most people might suddenly question something, be like, oh, why is that? And they might find it out. But I can do that like several times in a day,
Yeah.
constantly coming across stuff. A question is raised for me, and I then look into it, often just very random stuff. But being an ideas person means that I am constantly having different ideas, whether that's a different way to do something or just creating an entirely new concept. I said to my partner at the weekend, oh, so I just want to talk to you about my book idea. And he said, please don't take this the wrong way, but which one? Because I was like, yeah, fair. Because I've probably told him like so many different book ideas. And I'm always like, yeah, but this one's the one. Check this out. And sometimes the ideas that I have, I'm always having ideas for apps. I can't code to create said apps, but I'm always having this will be a great app. Someone out there should do it. Right. One of my favorite app ideas, if someone listens to this, like I don't even care if you take credit because it would just be so useful. There should be an app, right, that has the map of your local supermarkets in. So you always know where things are. And the stores themselves can update it when things get moved around so that you're not wandlessly aiming around in the shop. Now, my secondary thought to this was maybe stores wouldn't want to adopt this because perhaps the whole point is that you're lost and confused and you come across stuff that you'll then buy.
Right.
So maybe not, but maybe it would because they could advertise stuff then on it as you're looking around. So there could still be a way to entice people. But I can't tell you how many people even just talk about how frustrating the fact that all shops are laid out differently. There should just be an app for that. So that's an example of where an idea just comes into my head and I'm like, that, oh wow, like I wish I could make this. I wish I could have this idea. I wish I could create that. So many ideas and then very little execution of said ideas.
It sounds fun though. It sounds really fun. I feel like my brain is like an accountant in comparison. And apologies to any accountants who are listening and don't find their job boring. But I feel like my brain is often very spreadsheety, very like, yeah, spreadsheets and lists and tasks. And yeah, not so much of the fun stuff. There is a lot of curiosity. There is a lot of curiosity. And I do like that part.
I feel like my brain is like a blank canvas and people have just got lots of different colors and just gone splash, 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 splash. And it's just all over the place, everywhere, bright and colorful, but not much order. I would like order, but it's just very random.
Yeah, whereas I feel like I've got too much order, not enough random.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
When you were saying that, I was like, oh, okay, I think mine's like a grid. And I was like, has it got like a single dot in each grid that's just grey? And I was like, no, there's some different colours going on of different sizes. But yeah, there's a grid going on.
Yeah. So, yeah, too many tabs, too many paint splatters, too many grids.
Yeah. Mm. But what a wonderful thing, though. You know, I think this is another thing, isn't it? This feels like a positive thing. I feel like obviously the way that we word our episode titles is because people are told that they are too much or they've got too many tabs open, I guess would be the specific for this episode. But yeah, it just sounds exciting. You were talking at one point and I was like, I wish we could do like a brain swap, like just live in each other's
Brain
brains
swap.
for a week. Yeah.
It would probably be quite helpful to humanity if we could brain swap, because what a great way to get insight into the way different people's minds work
Yeah.
and appreciate that all our minds work so differently.
Yeah. But I really am sat with feeling boring.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I think it's like I want to go through my phone and be like, please let there be something on here that means that I'm not boring.
Right, right. What do you think it is that's making, why do you feel that way?
I think just about the ideas. And I think I think I've spoken about, my thing about being creative in the past. But I think I associate people who are creative with people who are fun. And because I don't really think of myself as someone who is creative. Yeah. And because there are so many tasks and because I am so busy, there isn't an awful lot of time for, like, you need space in your brain to be creative.
Mhm.
There's not an awful lot of time. And also we are recording this at a point where I really don't have time. um,
Yes.
yeah, like I'm pretty much doing 12, if not 14-hour days at the moment, doing everything that I'm doing.
Yeah, there is a real difference in capacity.
Yeah.
It is much harder, as you say, when you don't literally have the space. And I also know for me, even at times during great busyness, it is still something that I engage in, probably more as a form of avoidance for all of the busyness,
Yeah.
because ideas for me lean into like fantasy and imagination.
Mm.
And well, I have learnt that that's a coping strategy for me in life.
Yeah.
So I also think that when I'm busy, it is something I can still engage in, but I'm probably doing so less out of fun and more out of like survival necessity.
Sure.
That yeah, that I need this in order to keep going when there is so much to do.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that yeah, your perspective is, oh, that feels really fun. Whereas I feel scatty and inconsistent and like I don't
Right.
get any of these ideas actually done, which obviously isn't true. There are many things. This podcast was an idea and now it exists.
Yeah.
So, there are ideas that do come to fruition, but because I have so many, obviously hardly any don't. So rather than that feeling fun, I think I feel disappointed by that or that I'm not good at seeing things through or finishing things. So I just
Mm.
wanted to name that as I guess that's what feels like the downside to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I get that. I suppose as you were talking there, I was thinking about when you talked about all your different job changes and things. And that for me, the therapy has always been, there's never been anything else. that I've wanted to do, really. When I was very small, I wanted to be a solicitor, or rather a barrister, but gave that up quite quickly. So yeah, and it does feel nice, the solidity of that this is it. This is what I will be doing until I'm in my 80s, probably. And then I'm just trying to think. So when you're saying there about like so many things and you can't do them all, like I do also have a version of that.
Mm.
I guess I've noticed it throughout this year with my masters. So as we've talked about various things, well, when we were doing the summit, so our talk for our summit is on self-disclosure and visibility. And as part of the talk, we were looking at some of the research behind how therapists self-disclosing impacts clients, or what the guidance is and so on. And yeah, like as part of doing that, I was like, right, I'm going to do a PhD and I'm going to find out how does this impact client, which actually I think would be a good idea for someone to do, because there isn't a lot of research out there on it. And I think it is going to be an increasing thing.
Well, they're ideas.
Yeah, I guess. It just feels like a bit of a boring idea, which is why I let it go. I don't want to spend 3 to 6 years just working on self-disclosure, even if it would be a great excuse to spend a lot of time on Instagram.
Yeah, and honestly, literally Monday, I was researching about doing a PhD looking into disappointment sensitivity and if it's really a thing, because I think it's a thing.
Yeah.
And I started to do a whole outline for how I do the research.
Yeah.
And that's also one of many PhD questions that I've often contemplated doing. So
Yeah.
I don't find that boring.
Mm-hmm.
I said that's an idea, but that's boring. But I would love to hear about people's research ideas and what they would love to find more about. And to me, that's really cool and really interesting. So there's so much about perception, isn't there, here about
Yeah.
what's perceived
Yeah.
to be fun, what's perceived to be boring.
Yeah. And there are parts of me that don't think that that's boring. What I said before. But yeah, clearly there is a bigger part of me that thinks it's boring. Otherwise, because I was able to put it down quite quickly.
Mm.
It's not my thing. It's not my thing, is it? My thing is neurodivergent people who've been through family trauma. If I'm going to invest in doing a PhD, that is what it's going to be on. Yeah. On the kind of point of unfinished potential is, I think, part of the reason, I think less so now. But certainly in the past, part of my problem was, this feisty part of me that I've spoken about before, this determined part of me. If anybody is giving me the message, directly or otherwise, that they think I can't do something, I'm doing it.
Right.
It
Yeah.
is. It's like that girl boss mantra of "I can and I will, watch me." I don't know if you've seen that on social
Yes.
media. Yeah, it's like that is running through my veins. So yeah, there is that there. But do you know what? I think even with you saying that, I think that there is, when I think about, what is it? Unreached potential. Is that how we said it? Unreached, wasted
Unfinished or
potential.
wasted potential.
Yeah. I think I still, like, I'm literally realizing this as we're talking, I think I still frame my potential in terms of what other people think my potential is.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's shifted somewhat. So it's kind of shifted away from what my family perhaps originally wanted me to do. So becoming a lawyer or a doctor or something like that. But then it can become, what does my therapist think I should do? What does my supervisor think I'm capable of? What do other students on my course think? What do my friends think, or my business coach? Or, there's still that, what do other people think I can or should achieve? That,
Mm.
yeah, I think that still needs a bit of tweaking.
Almost needing other people to answer the question, can I do this?
I don't know if it's, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I think because
Because
it's so
that
fresh,
feels
because
in
I really just, yeah, it's
that
like,
feels in conflict to the watch me, I'll
yeah,
do it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't think I can process it fast enough for the episode. But there's definitely still, I think I definitely still, so my therapist for ages has been saying that I should run a group. And I would love to run a group. And I don't think I've worked through enough of my group related trauma to solidly lead a group. So
Mhm.
I've done the training. I know how to run a group. So I haven't run a group yet. I will run a group. But yeah, I guess I'm aware of the weight of her wanting me to run a group, maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't think she would want it to be a weight on me. And it also feels like a positive thing. It feels like, she believes in me. That's good. And, I am striving to get there. But I had it before with my supervisor who thought I was ready to become a supervisor before I was ready to become a supervisor. So yeah, there's something about what other people think my potential is and what I think my potential is. And maybe what's aligned with me and what isn't.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can definitely see why yourself and other people, why we would find ourselves kind of observing our potential through that external lens.
Mm.
And I also get, yeah, the rebellious part that's like, ha, watch me. Just like, hold my beer, like. I think my unfinished potential is I just feel more frustrated about the limitations of
Mm,
life. I think it's more that I feel I've got a lot more potential than what I can currently actually achieve
mm,
because of a lot of things that aren't really in my control. And
mm,
that's frustrating, upsetting, disappointing. It's like we said at the beginning, I have enough interest in so many different things
mm,
that I have too many ideas or things I want to do that couldn't even be done in a single lifetime anyway, even if I had the means. But the fact that I hardly have any means is really hard. Then it's like, oh, but I've
mm,
got all these ideas and all these things that I think are really cool that I'd love to do, and I can't do it. And the other problem is because I have so many ideas and I'm interested in so many things, and this is something that I've been kind of working through more recently, is I then don't know, quote unquote, what the real one is. So, what's the
mm,
one that I actually want to do, though? What's the one that I actually want to put time, effort, and dedication into
mm,
pursuing? And it's like there's some belief in me that some of these ideas I don't actually want, but maybe some I actually do. And if I can
mm,
figure out what that is, then I know what to commit my time to.
mm,
But I can't figure that out. I don't actually know what the real ones are that I'm really passionate about, that I really should focus on.
mm,
Because the truth is, unfortunately, there isn't going to be a real one. They're all just ideas, and sometimes you kind of just have to pick one and go with it. But that's difficult to do for lots of different reasons. So sometimes I think that can conjure up a feeling of, I'm not going to go as far as to say failure, that's too strong, but definitely this sense of I should and could be doing more.
mm. Yeah, that's hard.
Mm.
That is hard. I feel like this touches a little bit on another episode we did as well of like who we imagine we could become if we do some of the things that we think of. And I think that's definitely something that I can get tangled in, whether that is tasks or ideas. Is yeah, that if I can pull off these amazing feats, that I'll be more important or I'll be more interesting or I'll be more whatever. And as I was thinking about that, I was like, is that leading to more connection, which I feel like is more my goal at the moment? Or actually is that a clever way of creating more distance from people? And I
Right.
thought,
Yeah.
oh yeah, maybe it is that old and actually I feel like no, I'm not. I was just gonna say, I think I'm growing out of that wanting to be, yeah, at the top of things. As I spoke before about becoming a professor. And
Oh.
I was just like, oh yeah, no, I think I'm letting go of that and just, I'm just all about the connection now. And then I was just like, no, Alice, you've already got half a plan in your head of how you're going to finish your masters and then do the next bit of the qualification and then the next bit and then the next bit after that. And also how you could do a PhD alongside it and be one of the big names in the community. And yeah, yeah.
I love the idea of like promoting this podcast. Come and listen to us talk about things that we just keep flip flopping on and are just totally incoherent.
Come and listen to our harebrained ideas
Yeah.
and share yours. Share yours with us,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
they are.
I love listening to other people's ideas. Yeah. Maybe we just need to get a group of ideas people and a group of doer people and put them together. So, these things can come into reality.
See, that was another thing I was thinking about. So you hear people talking about being ideas people or being completer finishers, don't you? Well,
Right.
I don't think I'm either of those things. I'm some other third thing that is neither. And I feel like what that third thing is like, I think it's a depth thing. I think it's a how do I swim around in this idea that someone else has thought up forever and just be more curious and look at more and consider from more angles. And yeah.
I totally know what you mean. In fact, the research question I came up with on disappointment, I put into AI and it quickly told me this is 10 research questions in one. You would need to seriously winnow down. And I was like, no, but then it's losing all its richness and it's losing all of its depth. And where actually, I think a PhD would probably suck up my soul for how extremely narrow it has to be. Because I think I realized I like synthesizing information. I like looking at information, connecting the dots, bringing it all together, and then synthesizing that information, maybe with a new understanding.
Yes.
So I
What are
realized,
those
yeah,
people? That's what I
yeah.
am. What are those people called?
Well,
The
we're
synthesizers.
synthesizers.
Well, that just
Yeah.
makes me think of 80s pop music.
Synth.
Just like in the background of me, like pulling all these things together is some funky electronic music.
Just overlay some funky electronic music over the top of this bit in the podcast.
Yeah.
We're synthesizers.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So, how do we cope then when we have brains that are super tabby?
Mm.
How do you survive? You know, I said before about trying to be more mindful so that I don't end up in burnout repeatedly. And I was thinking earlier about, so before it was like, I'd be flying and then I'd crash and burn. And now what I'm trying to do is still fly because I need to fly. I'm trying to land while I've still got enough control to land. What does that look like practically? I think it's things like not working past a certain time of night. So
Mhm.
at the moment, I'm working till 9 o'clock at night, but not any later than that. If I work later than that, I won't be asleep before midnight. And I think it is being quite disciplined about what I say yes to. So recently, I've color coded my Google Calendar that I think I told you about.
Mhm.
I'm still in love with it. And that's made me realize how little time I have. So before where I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it then, I'll do it then, I'll do it then. Now I have to check like, well, where have I actually got space to do it then?
Mm.
And often it's nowhere. So if it's not really important, it's not happening. And I have to say no to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some like external actionable things. How do you cope with a brain that has too many tabs open?
How do I cope? I don't know. My answer is just those external things.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just how I am. I don't know. It doesn't feel like I do cope with it. It just feels like I wake up and this is how my brain is. And when it gets too much, I externalize it onto my calendar and my task list, and that's kind of it. But I'm
Yeah.
intrigued then by your answer to the question.
Well, with tasks and things, it's just making me think of recommendations that someone might try with an ADHD
Hmm.
brain that's just swimming with tasks and never ending things.
Hmm.
For some people, it might be really putting everything into a diary or a
Hmm.
calendar so
Hmm.
that it's down somewhere. And another option is writing tasks down with tick boxes, but only doing it on the sides of a post it note so that you can't put down so many things that it becomes overwhelming.
Hmm.
I came across a cute suggestion recently where you have two bowls
Hmm.
and on slips of paper, you write down tasks that need completing.
Hmm.
But in one bowl, you put the tasks that are higher energy or that will take more time. And then in the other bowl, you put the shorter, quicker things that won't take as much time. And then when you wake up in the morning, you can gauge what your energy and commitments are for that day and pick a task out of the bowl. And then you do that task.
Oh, that's a fun way of doing it.
I thought that was quite fun because when you just write down a full list of all the stuff that you need to do, it very quickly becomes overwhelming. Whereas once they're in a bowl, you just have to pick one out and you just do that task. Or you could say, I'm going to pick three tasks out And actually, if you pick one out and you don't like it, just put it back, pick up another one, you're still getting a task done.
So actually, to go back then to your question of what do I do other than externalizing, I came across an audiobook a few months ago called, I think it's called Meditations for Mortals, possibly by Oliver Berkman, I think his name is. And it's not been a priority. So I've listened to like the first 10 minutes of it or something like that. And what he's talking about is that the nature of modern life is that you will never clear your to-do list. It will not happen. And that just made me feel so free of just like, I mean, sure, there's all these things on my to-do list, but I'm not also sat with, right, I need to get to the end. Like, I'm not going to get to the end. As soon as I've done all the stuff for the summit and finished off the bits for my master's this year, my brain will be on to the next thing. I'll be thinking about what pre-reading can I do to get ahead on the modules that we might do next year, or catch up on the things that I didn't read that I wanted to read for this year that's just gone. What other summity type things can we look at to start applying for? Or, yeah, there is no end to it. I'm hoping to have a few clear weeks over the summer. So I've got more time for my family because I'm so busy at the moment. I'm not spending a lot of time with my children, which I don't like. But yeah, there's no end. So there's no pressure to it. So there's a releasing of that. And I think that is really important. It's like I can get through what I can get through, and things will get pushed back and I will be behind because that is the nature of everyday life.
Yes. Yeah, no, it definitely is. One thing that I have found helpful is using just notes, the notes system on your phone, whatever that is using something called the Eisenhower Matrix, but I just use it on my phone. So I have a notes section for urgent tasks, and these are tasks that you have got to get done. I mean, I set mine up where I have tasks that have to be done this week, or there'd be a big consequence. So you should only really have one or two things on that list. And then the next section is important but not urgent. So things that don't have to happen this week, but they are still important. You need to keep an eye on it. They're going to have to get done soon. And then you have things that aren't important and aren't urgent. This then tends to be the longer one, which is quite helpful because usually we can find we put stuff on that list higher up on our priorities. But when we actually sit and do it this way, we can realize that actually it's not urgent or important that I repaint the spare bedroom. Nothing bad is going to happen if that's not done for another 6 months. Even if it's not done for another 2 years, like, yeah, we might not like it and it might be shabby and not very nice, but nothing bad will actually happen if that doesn't get done. Same with, the living room needs a new plant. We can really get that in our head. I need to get a new plant for the living room, need to get a new plant for the living room, but actually you don't. Yeah. So put it down. There's another section that you can add in that's about delegating. So are you the one that has to complete this task, or actually can you ask somebody else to do that for you, whether that's a partner, whether that's a friend, whether that's someone you pay? So sometimes it's not you specifically that has to do all of these tasks. And then the final one is delete.
Oh.
So you still put tasks on it so that it's got somewhere to go, but they're the tasks that actually, again, sometimes so the plant for the living room, like for some people, they might put that to non-urgent. They might want to get one. But other times someone might put, do you know what, that's just, at some point that will happen. No, delete. I don't need that. I'm thinking that I need this thing and I don't actually need this thing. So I'm going to put that, delete, scrap that. And I don't use that system perfectly. Again, it's another system I've created that I don't use as well as I would like. But I do use it largely for the urgent and important stuff. And I find that really helpful. And just to say, for anyone who's visual, I also have a white magnetic whiteboard on my fridge where I also write important stuff or things to remember. I also sometimes put annual things on it that I'm likely to forget, like annual boiler service. That goes on there so that I see it. So every time I walk in, I can't avoid that. I can, oh yes, that thing. And it's a visual reminder. And I often say, especially with ADHD clients that I work with, there is no perfect system that will just fix everything and you'll use well all the time. Sometimes the answer isn't just constantly looking for new systems. With the best will in the world, we're still going to be ADHD. However, sometimes we do find certain systems that stick around long enough and help enough that they're worth keeping, that can help with all of those things in my mind.
Yeah, yeah, and I really have to resist that. And I think we're sold it, and actually I think we're sold it so much more now. I think because of the rise of awareness of neurodivergence, but also the kind of hyper capitalist society that we live in, certainly my social media is constantly pumped full of this thing will solve your ADHD. This thing will turn you into the miraculous human you want to be. Like that's always there. But I think what you said about the bowls, like it makes it like a game, doesn't it? And I think that makes it more fun. So I think maybe about 18 months ago, I got the app Finch, which is basically like a gamified to-do list. So for
Mm.
everything that you do, you earn some crystals and you have a little character. It's called a burb, like a bird with a B at the end, burb. And with all the crystals that you earn, you can buy like clothes and furniture for its little room and different colors to turn its wings and head and feet different colors and things like that. And I like that. That helps me keep on top of things. I tried it several years ago and it didn't work, but I gave it another go and I've stuck to it and it's fun. But I also do it with my sister. So, and I think there's something about us doing it together that also helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it does help when you've got somebody in it with you.
Yeah. And it's cute.
Yeah.
It's so cute. Or you get little pets as well. That's the other thing. So like your little bird gets little pets and some of them are so cute.
I love that. Yeah. Anything cute and anything cozy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And for the ideas, this is something that's not fully worked for me, but it's definitely seen it work for other people. Is my coach once recommended having a notebook that I just entitle Bright Shiny Things, and that's where all the ideas go.
Hmm.
So that there's somewhere for it to be logged, but also when you've got stuff to be getting on with, you can be like, I can look at that later.
Yeah.
And I know some people that's worked with where they have a place to just put all of those ideas. And I've kind of got a version of that. I think the issue is I'm having often so many thoughts in a day. I need
Yeah.
to carry it everywhere.
Yeah.
But that can be helpful because ideas can be really fun to engage in and to fantasize about and to plan and to think about. But having somewhere to note it down so that you can come back to it when it's not 11 p.m. or in the middle of your working day and you're on a deadline, where
Yeah.
you can acknowledge it and put it somewhere, but then come back to it later.
I have a Google Doc like that for content ideas that I have.
Oh, yeah.
But an increasingly long list of things that I don't get around to doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Well, I think it can become that.
Yeah. Well, I guess another point that kind of connects to that is, and I suppose another way of how I cope with having such a busy brain is that I've had to get to a point where I can feel okay about quitting things.
Yes. Yeah.
So starting something, realizing it's not for me and quitting. I
Hmm.
used to have a real hang up about being a quitter, but now I don't. Now I see it as a strength. I'm kind of glad, I'm grateful to 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old me who started course after course after course and he couldn't stick at it because then it freed me up to actually do what I really wanted to do and not force myself through years of education that wasn't right for me. So yeah, that's okay as well. Let yourself be a quitter. Quit things.
Yeah.
Probably
I've
boring
quit.
anyway.
I've quit a lot of things, and there's mixed feelings about that. Sometimes I genuinely think it is good to quit things. Sometimes.
Mm.
Sometimes I think it's good to see things through. Other times I think it's good to quit. I don't think there is a right or wrong for any of those things.
Yeah.
But there is definitely sometimes value in quitting.
Yeah.
And it can be a difficult one because the things that I have quit are things that I felt like I really wanted to do. And it can feel like, it can come back to like, why can't I do these things? You know?
Yeah, that feels a bit different. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like there's
Uh,
a longing in it rather than doing something
yes.
resentfully just because you started.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Or just when it turns out to be not what you thought, or maybe it is what you thought, but it's too difficult to keep doing for whatever reason.
yeah,
So there can be difficult feelings with quitting, but even when there is difficult feelings, sometimes it's still the right thing to do.
yeah,
So being more okay with quitting, I think, can be a good thing.
mm, yeah,
And I think being an ideas person, it's just knowing that it is okay to be an ideas person and not act on everything, probably because you couldn't. So there will be lots of ideas tabs open in your brain, and it is okay for things to stay as ideas. And sometimes joy can be found in the fantasizing and the playing out in your mind of that idea and what that could encompass and look like. Yeah, I say that as someone who's still trying to get more comfortable with it, but I also kind of know that that's the truth, really. But yeah, I love that so many of our conversations are about the mix of where this can feel like a really great, lovely, beautiful thing, and also where it can be problematic too. But hopefully, where we can come away thinking, yeah, okay, it can be challenging sometimes, but also it's kind of cool that my brain works in this way.
Feel like what we desperately need then is a website where all the ideas people can dump all of their ideas, and all of the curious expander depth people can add more, pull them together, and then all the completer finishers can put it into action.
And then you all get a cut of the profits when you're mega
Yeah.
rich from your ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if a doer could link up with me, I feel like I could make people rich with
You
my
could
ideas.
take over the world, couldn't you?
I think I genuinely could.
Yeah.
Someone would just let me. I think I could. Yeah. And you would all know exactly where to buy your favorite pack of biscuits in the supermarket.
Wonderful. What more can you want?
You're welcome.
If you've ever felt like you're too full of ideas to ever finish anything, like you've got 400 tabs open, 3 notebooks on the go, 100 half-built plans, and a brain that hands you a brilliant new idea right when you're already drowning in the last 10,
Maybe that's not a sign you're undisciplined or scattered or wasting your potential. Maybe it's a sign you have a brain that's curious about everything, that makes connections others can't see, and that simply needs somewhere safe to put it all down.
And one more reminder before we go. If you're a therapist or counsellor, do come and find us at the Prosper in Private Practice Virtual Summit from the 21st to the 26th of June. It's free to register, there are over 25 speakers, and you can watch the talks in your own time. Click the link in our show notes, we'd love to see you there.
And as always, we'd love you to come and join our Substack community, Too Much Apparently, a little space for fellow muchlings with journal prompts for every episode, community chats, and early updates on new episodes and live events. Just search Too Much Apparently on Substack or click the link in the show notes.
Next time, we're diving into Too Old to Make Friends, the awkward reality of trying to make friends as an adult, why it can feel even harder than it did at school, the loneliness no one quite admits to, and whether being sensitive or neurodivergent makes it harder to find your people later in life.
And if this episode made you feel a little bit less alone, subscribe, rate the podcast, and follow at Too Much Apparently on Instagram and TikTok. Those small clicks help other sensitive humans find us. But for now, we'll leave you with this. What would change if you stopped treating every idea as a task you failed to complete and start letting some of them simply be sparks you got to enjoy?